Now we'll do an English story, all if you can watch. This story is written by Mr. Gavin Maxwell. Gavin used to live in a cottage in Camusferna, in the West Highlands in Scotland. It was a very beautiful place where he used to live. He had a dog, but after the death of his dog, he felt very sad to keep another one. But when he moved to Iraq, he happened to see another animal, an otter. You can see the picture of an otter right here. What happens next is there in our story. I would be signing as the author himself. You all must be knowing or having a pet at your home, a dog, a cat, different animal. You must be knowing that having a pet is not an easy thing. You have to feed the pet, take care of it. It's a serious full-time responsibility. It's not easy at all. Here, the author has tried to express his own feelings about the pet. Now I would be signing the story. Everyone, watch me. In 1956, I traveled to southern Iraq. I saw there some Arab people petting an otter was such a new animal for me. Then I thought of having an otter maybe one day. I told this to my friend. I was waiting for my mail, which was due for a long time. Therefore, with a friend, I went to Basra to receive the mail. My friend collected his mail and went away. But my mail was not there. I had to wait 3 days, call England, but telephone was not working. Then there were some holidays. Around fifth day, I received my mail. At the same time, I also received a sack by two Arabs in which there was something moving. The Arab said, "Here is your otter." I was happy to receive it. I named it Mijbil. The otter looked like a small dragon, small Chinese dragon. At first, he was covered in mud, and it took a month to clean him. I brought him home. For the first 24 hours, Mitchell was neither hostile nor friendly. He was very quiet, simply aloof and indifferent, choosing to sleep on the floor as far away from my bed as possible. The second night, Mijbil came onto my bed in the morning hours and remained asleep in the crook of my knees until the servant brought tea in the morning. After a few days, he started taking interest, much too keen interest in his surroundings, and started exploring it. Then I made a body belt for him, for his small body size, and attached a lead. And I took him on a lead to the bathroom. If you know, otters love water and playing in the water. He also, for half an hour, went wild with joy in the water, plunging and rolling in it, shooting up and down the length of the bathtub underwater, splashing, sloshing, same as a hippo. Hippo is a big animal, and if you see when he moves into the water, all the water comes out. Otter, though small, had similar effect on the water. And thus I learned a characteristic of otters. In their life, they believe that every drop of water must be spread about, otherwise it is wasted. A bowl must be at once overturned and be sat in and splashed in until it overflows. Water should not be stagnant. It must be made to do things. It must be overturned. That means water must be kept on a move all the time. It must work. When static, it is wasted. 2 days later, Mijbil escaped from my bedroom as I entered it, and I turned to see his tail disappearing round the bend of the corridor that led to the bathroom. By the time I got there, he was up on the end of the bathtub and fumbling at the taps with his paws. I watched, amazed. In less than a minute, he had turned the tap far enough to produce a trickle of water, and after a moment or two achieved the full flow. And he started playing with the water. He had been lucky to turn the tap the right way. On later occasion, he would sometimes screw it up still tighter, and then chittering with irritation and disappointment at the tap's failure to cooperate. Very soon, Midge would follow me without a lead and come to me when I called his name. He spent most of his time playing. He spent hours shuffling a rubber ball round the room like a 4-footed soccer player, using all 4 feet to dribble the ball. And he could also throw it with a powerful flick of the neck to a surprising height and distance. But the real play of an otter is when he lies on his back and juggles with small objects between his paws. Marbles were Midge's favorite toys for this pastime. He would lie on his back, rolling 2 or more of them up and down, his wide flat belly without ever dropping one to the floor. I was staying at Basra, but had to move to England and then to Camisfarna. But the problem was that some of the airlines did not allow transporting animals. Therefore, I had to choose a different flight. This was via Paris that allowed animals on board. As a result, Mijbil was packed in a box of its size. When I came back, there was complete silence from the box. But from the air holes, blood had trickled and dried. Mitchell was all exhausted and blood spattered. He had torn the lining of the box. It was just 10 minutes until the time of the flight, so I had to act fast. The airport was 5 miles away, so I packed Mitchell into a box and I took a cab to the airport. The aircraft was waiting to take off. I was rushed through it by the infuriated officials. Luckily, the seat was booked for me at the extreme front. I covered the floor around my feet with newspapers. Then I rang for the air hostess and gave her a parcel of fish for Mijbil to keep in a cool place. This air hostess was very kind. She was the very queen of her kind. She suggested that I might prefer to have my pet on the knee. But as soon as I opened, Mijbil was out of the box in a flash. He disappeared at high speed down the aircraft. There were quacks and shrieks, and a woman stood up on her seat screaming out, "A rat! A rat!" I caught sight of Mid's tail disappearing beneath the legs of the portly white turbaned Indian. Diving for it, I missed, but found my face covered in curry. The air hostess said, with the most charming smile, "Perhaps it would be better if you resumed your seat, and I will find the animal and bring it to you." I returned to my seat. I was craning my neck trying to follow the hunt, when suddenly I heard from my feet a chitter of recognition and welcome, and Midge bounded onto my knee and began to nuzzle my face and my neck. Midge and I remained in London for nearly a month. He would play for hours with a selection of toys: ping pong balls, marbles, rubber fruits, and many other different items. One terrapin shell that I had brought back from his native marshes. With the ping pong ball, he invented a game of his own, which could keep him engrossed for up to half an hour at a time. A suitcase that I had taken to Iraq had become damaged on the journey home. So the lid, when closed, remained at a slope from one end to the other. Midge discovered that if he placed the ball on a high end, it would run down the length of the suitcase. He would dash around to the end of the suitcase to catch it by surprise. This was his own idea to remain busy for hours. He would ambush the ball and would never let it fall. This was his own game. And like this, I saw that he was able to invent many other games. Outside our house, I exercised him on a lead, just like a dog. In London, people did not recognize otters. They used to make blind guesses to recognize the animal. Otters belong to a small group of animals called mustelines. Shared by badger, mongoose, weasel, stoat, mink, and others. All these animals had distinct nose and a tail, and that's why the group. They all belong to the same family. But people used to make random guesses like calling him a baby seal. You know what a seal is? Seal lives underwater in cold areas and eats other fish. Some other people called him a squirrel. Have you seen a squirrel? Similar, different guesses left me in giggles. Somebody even called him a hippo. Really? A hippo? Hippo is so much different. Hippo is a bigger animal. This is such a small animal. Somebody called him a beaver. Someone called him a bear cub. Even a leopard. Really? London people have no idea what this animal is. They were not able to recognize him. Someone once called him a brontosaur. They were not clear about this animal. That's why they gave all these names. London people have never seen such an animal before. Nobody called him an otter. The most surprising event was once when a laborer was digging his hole in the street. On seeing the animal, he placed down his tools, and as I neared him, this man shouted, "What is that supposed to be?" Looking with big eyes,